Welcome into Texans Today. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs. Coming up on today's show, we got a little kicker talk. Are the Texans signing a new kicker after Matt Ammendola doinked the last kick in that Jacksonville game? And also, we're going to take a look at the Texans' path to the playoffs. I know that heartbreaking loss this past Sunday might have everybody down, but hey, the Texans, they're still in this thing. They're still right in the thick of it. So if you're with me right now, if you really believe in this team through the thick and thin, through the ups and the downs, through everything, go down and like this video right now. I want to see how many real ones I got watching this video from the get. So if you're a real one like me, if you believe this team can still make the playoffs, go down and like the video. I want to see how many people really still believe in this team. Is it 300 people, 400 people, 500 people, 1,000 people? Go down and like the video right now. I want to see who truly believes in this Texans team. Now, like I said, the Texans, they are working out a kicker by the name of Brett Maher. You probably heard of him before, former Dallas Cowboys kicker. They cut Amandola to claim Derek Barnett. Yesterday, we broke that video down, and Brett Maher, kind of the opposite of Amendola. He's had more accuracy issues within 50 yards, but has a lot of power, a career long of 63 yards. As we look at his stats over the last 4 seasons, this year, 23 field goals attempted, 17 made, a long of 54, 92% on his extra points. Last year with the Cowboys, 32 field goals attempted, 29 made. A pretty good job, a long of 60. So, I mean, he would have made that game-tying field goal this past Sunday. A 94% extra point percentage, which is a little misleading because in the playoffs, we remember 4 missed extra points. I mean, it was actually comical how many extra points he missed in that Cowboys game. And then, obviously, the rest of his stats. And as we look at Matt Ammendola, who stepped in for Fairbairn, who has one more game that he needs to sit out. Matt Ammendola, 6 field goals attempted, 3 field goals made, a long of only 45, missed both of his 50-plus yarders yet this past Sunday. And, newsflash, he is over in kicks longer than 50 yards in his career, but 100% on extra points. So let me ask you right off the get, pick a kicker. Who do you want the kicker to be this Sunday up against the Denver Broncos? It's a crucial game. I'm going to be breaking down that at the end of today's show, but let me know who you would pick for this Sunday to be the Texans kicker. Is it Matt Ammendola? Type MA in the comment section. Or if you think it's Brett Maher, go ahead and type BM. Maybe unpopular, but I'm sticking with Ammendola just because of the short term, and I don't think you need to change too much stuff up. I know he missed the game-tying field goal at the end of the game, and obviously that was a heartbreaker, but I mean, if he can make the extra points, if he can make those crucial after-touchdown kicks, I mean, that's what you really need. And I think I would be more upset if the Texans lost the game because we couldn't make extra points rather than making a 59-yard field goal with 30 seconds left. That's just my opinion. Maybe unpopular. By a slight edge, I'm giving Amandola the edge. And the reason why I say only this 1 week is Aaron Wilson. He reported, just like we all thought, Fairbairn, he was put on short-term IR. He is now eligible to be activated after the Broncos game this Sunday from that strained quad. I mean, hopefully Kaime's ready to come back after this Broncos game because then you have the Jets, which is almost equally as important than that Broncos game. But like I said, I don't want to change too much stuff up. You're going to get Kaime back in a week, so I don't want to, ruffle too many feathers. I don't want to shake it up too much. I would keep Amandola if I was the Houston Texans and really go after Kaime Fairbairn. Now, if Kaime's not ready to go, if he's not healthy, then that's a different conversation. Then I might say, hey, let's go in a different direction. But with one game, I think we stick with the guy who we already know. Coming up, the Texans' path to the playoffs. It's not impossible for them to make the playoffs. Still not impossible for them to win the AFC South. Need some help from the Jags. But we'll break all that down after we show some love to our sponsor. It's Prize Picks. It's as easy as this. You choose 2 or more players from any sport, put more or less on their projected stats, and then you just place your entry. It's as easy as that, folks. And Prize Picks is the most fun I've had, winning up to 25 times my money. And Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. And here's my picks that I'm rocking with. His producer, Coop, hey, he's a real one. He's taking me to the Mavs-Rockets game tonight. So I had to put my money down on the Rockets, of course. I'm going more on Jalen Green points at 20.5, more on Dylan Brooks points at 12.5. And this has been probably the most automatic pick I've done every time I've done a basketball prize picks. It's Alperin Şengün, more on points, rebounds, and assists combined at 36.5. I mean, he has been a monster this year, getting double-doubles. He's awesome this year. You can use my picks or you can fade my picks. Just do it at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy, folks. Now, Texans path to the playoffs. I know everybody's doom and gloom. Whenever I show this next graphic, you're going to be upset. Just content warning, might be upset at this next comment. You ready? You ready? Okay, here it goes. Here's the current AFC playoff picture. I know it sucks not seeing the Texans in the wild card spot right now, but they're right there. They're in the hunt right behind it. And as you notice, who are they right next to in the hunt? Denver. Both at 6-5. The Colts also at 6-5. So this next stretch of games for the Texans, more important than ever. Like I said, the Jags sitting there at number 3 as the division leader of the AFC South at 8-3. You might need some help if you want to win the division. But if we're just looking at the Texans making the playoffs, these next 2 games up against AFC foes, the Broncos and the Jets, who are also fighting for a wild card spot, that is crucial. You also play AFC South opponents 3 more times this year, twice against the Titans. That last game against the Colts, they're currently the 7th seed at the wild card. That Week 18 game might be extremely crucial. So before I get into the odds, like I've done the past couple weeks with the New York Times playoff predictor, I want to hear from you. What are the odds? What do you think the percent chance the Texans make the playoffs? What do you think it is? Give me a number down in the comment section. Do you think it's a 50% chance? Do you think it's a 100% chance? They are definitely going to make the playoffs. Let me know down in the comment section what you're thinking. So I ran the simulations, and basically the New York Times playoff predictor, it runs like 50,000, 100,000 simulations. You can do more and more simulations as you go on. So I did about 200,000 simulations for each of these scenarios coming up, and these are the numbers it came up with. If you lose the next 2 games, like I said, these next 2 games are very important for the Texans if they're trying to have a postseason this year. 21% chance to make the playoffs if you lose your next 2 games. You can't lose against the Broncos and the Jets. You just can't. You got to win at least one of them. And if you do, here's the option 1. If you lose to the Broncos this next week, but you beat the Jets, flip of a coin. Hey, right now, heads or tails? Heads or tails? Ready? Heads or tails? Tails. Call it in the air. Tails? It's tails. Tails never fails. If you didn't call tails, you're a phony. You're an absolute phony. You have a 50% chance if you lose to Denver and you beat the Jets. But what if the oddverse? Did I say that right? Inverse. Oddverse. What? I don't even know where I got that. What about the inverse? If the Texans beat the Broncos and then lose to the Jets the next week, they have a 60% chance to make the playoffs. So more important to beat the Broncos because they're trending in the right direction. The Jets, they've lost a lot of games. Zach Wilson has been pitiful. So if you beat the Broncos and lose to the Jets, you have a 60% chance to make the playoffs. And hey, if you just go out there and win both of the games, you got an 84% chance to make the playoffs. So obviously, I didn't need to even put the numbers in front of you to tell you, if you win the next 2 games, your number or your percent chance of making the playoffs goes up rapidly. And I mean, just looking at those numbers, I don't even have to tell you, the statistics, whatnot. This game against the Broncos is the most crucial game the Texans have had all season. A tough loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can this team rebound? They were down almost the entire game up against the Jaguars. Came back at the very end. Were not able to tie it. I mean, I made my video a couple days ago. The Texans, they had their opportunities to win that game, to tie that game. A lot of, inexperience, a lot of, rookie mistakes, having sacks on the final drive, going 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, going for deep shots. I mean, this is the Texans' rebound game right here. If they can go out and beat the Broncos, I really think this team is bound for the playoffs. H-Town, hold it down. So, I told you at the top of the video, go like the video if you still believe. If you're still a real one. If you're still throwing up the H's no matter what for the Texans or for the Rockets. I'm going to the Rockets-Mavs game tonight, so check it out and go to Prize Picks and put in your picks. Follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs for the latest around the Houston Texans. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you want daily Texans news and rumors. We're almost at 7K. We're 20 subs away. So who's going to be that real one to go down and hit the sub button and help us pass 7K? Don't do it for me. Do it for CJ Stroud. 7K for CJ. Let's go. Texans today. Subscribe right now.